All right, we're at FarmTech 2017 coming to a close here in Edmonton. Not sure, Jay's given us the start signal at least 3 times, so this may be the actual start, or we may have started earlier.
We're just going to roll with it, it's fine.
But there's Jay's thumb.
There we go, just his thumb.
It's been a good 3 days, Lyndsey. Tons of speakers, high quality speakers, keynote presentations, some probably even career highlights for us who we got to sit down with.
We were talking about this last night at dinner, that what I'm impressed with is the remarkable lineup of Canadians and significant Canadians. No offense to our American friends, but it is lovely to see in these 3 days the caliber and the breadth of amazing Canadians to walk through the door. So television. I talk with my hands too much. Anyway, you got to interview Brian Mulroney.
Yes.
Former Prime Minister Brian Mulroney.
That was special.
Yes, and Andrew Coyne. I had the honor of interviewing General Romeo Dallaire, Clara Hughes. So just amazing, just absolutely amazing. So that has been just fantastic. So yeah, I would say probably career highlight, not just show highlights, like career highlights for me.
Yeah, these are, how often do you get to talk to
a former Prime Minister?
Lieutenant General or just call me General? I think it's that.
Yeah,
that's
I asked him because I didn't know. He's done so many things, and but I'm just supposed to call him General Dallaire. So that's what I did. Also, I will note that the Right Honourable Brian Mulroney remembers the one time I answered the phone, and he was on the other end, and I took a very good message. He's a super nice guy. I offered him baked goods. Yeah, they're from the media room. Anyway, he didn't want them, so. Just putting that out there.
Those are Brian Mulroney's leftovers.
Right, Well, we can eat them now. Okay, but there were fantastic presenters otherwise as well. Andrew Campbell's actually just sitting off camera. He's a big deal. Who were some of your favorite concurrent sessions? Concurrent
sessions? Well, Tim Caulfield was, his session was well attended, and you got a chance to sit down with him. So that video, if it's not already up on the site, will be up shortly. Yep. Tim Caulfield. I had the chance to moderate a couple of sessions on, it sounds like a dry topic, but it is actually real important. And I wish there'd been more farmers in the room, but the lounge area here was already open both afternoons when the session started. So the topic of MRLs, maximum residue limits. So I learned a lot about glyphosate and quinclorac and chlormequat, the big ones right now that are in the news in terms
Congratulations for saying those.
All 3 of those,
without stumbling on them. Well done. Like you learned something. Okay, so when I say it's a dry topic, because it kind of is, but it's actually incredibly important because we've got a maximum residue limit. When we're exporting a crop, it can be tested at the other end. Isn't always, but could be. And then there would be a tolerance for what's allowed for some of these in some countries. But in countries where they don't have an allowable limit, it defaults to 0.
That's right.
And that becomes a problem.
Yeah. And the thing is, whether we're talking canola, wheat, pulses, it's 70 to 80, 90% is exported from Canada. And so if we lose one of these key markets overnight from something like an MRL issue, that would be really bad for Canadian farmers. And so more countries are moving to having national standards, which is not good. We'd rather have them follow Codex, which is the international standard. But as countries become more wealthy, China and South Korea are some of the latest ones that have gone to having their own national standards. So that's where it complicates things, because now they have their own rules, and we have China actually, most of the things that we have MRLs for in Canada, they don't yet. So there's lots of things where it is by default going to 0, and whether they're enforcing or not, they can decide overnight to enforce, and that's where the risk is.
Well,
so that's why it's such an important topic.
The issue becomes, we've seen this with lentils, with glyphosate residue and lentils into the EU. That was really tough a couple of years ago. So, I think from the perspective of, obviously there is this international and national issue of making sure that we've got rules and regulations and all these sorts of things, but then it has to get back to farmers. And one of the hiccups and frustrations I know that farmers have is that products get approved for use, but don't necessarily have an approved MRL in a country it may end up in. And unfortunately, this is not a big coordinated approach internationally, so we can't always get it in harmony between an approval and an MRL set in place. And so I think the producer groups, though, have done a pretty great job of keeping, when there's a specific issue, of keeping members informed as to whether or not there's a product that may cause an issue. Many products, as long as they're used exactly according to the label, are not going to cause an issue. But We are talking about, we can test down to teeny
that's the thing.
amounts, right?
It's not just 1 part per billion anymore, it's 100 parts per trillion that some countries are testing to.
Right, exactly. So, like we can test for more than, like, it's hard. There is no absolute zero. You can't have that. Okay.
So for a dry topic, we spent enough time probably talking about it.
Okay, let's talk about beets.
Beets, yes.
And not like, but like.
We're in Alberta, there's sugar beets here.
Oh, there are, but we did not eat sugar beets.
No.
So this is because people care about these things. I've never been to a conference and the food has been great. We'll get to coffee in a second, but there's been beets like almost at every meal, and then even at breakfast at the hotel there was beet juice, like smoothie things. So
beets are in right now.
Yeah, you heard it here first. Beets are the next it vegetable. I don't know what the last it vegetable was. I really don't. But like beets are going to be the new hummus, which was the new salsa.
We're talking. I don't know what we call in your garden planning, not acre. Like we talk about acreage estimates for new crop year. We sat down with Chuck and Chuck Penner and Brendan to talk about acreage.
And so we
didn't talk about garden.
We should. I don't know what
what square
percentage.
Footage.
Okay, so I am this year for the first time going to grow edamame. Oh. No, I love beets. I always grow beets, but edamame, I have seeds already.
Yeah.
I got them secretly, so I'm not saying where I got them from. So also though at this show, and I mean this is probably my favorite conference of the year. But coffee, we are in the Real Ag Lounge. This is where there is a bar at the end of the day, and it's also where you come to get coffee. But the coffee is only
just during
here.
The coffee break.
Just during coffee break, and then they take it away. And you know what? I get it. That's fine. Because realistically, I'm sure that we probably break records on how much coffee gets consumed at these things, because farmers know how to drink beer and they know how to drink coffee, and yes, these are my people. But anyway, so we had a lot of people who were like, where's the coffee? And I feel their pain. Anyway, but also we're at the end of the day and no one has brought me a roll up the rim, and this is day two of roll up the rim, so that's a warning.
There's one at the airport. There's a Tim Hortons at the airport.
Before I go home, I'm going to get some. And I'm going to post it on Twitter. I am. We also had, so what I love about FarmTech is this year is 2,000 people. So I was here 3 years ago. I missed 2 years. And 3 years, I think it was like 1,700. So it has grown substantially even in that amount of time. Just a phenomenal group of people that you end up getting to see here and meet and cross paths with. Tom Wolf has been going by with his unicycle. And
trying to distract Brian Mulrooney or get his attention.
Brian Mulrooney brought a lot of attention to our booth, and it was really cool to see, actually. Anyway, but also Brian Voth stopped by. And if you don't know Brian Voth, he is about 7'2" and has a very heavy Mennonite accent. Okay, not that heavy, but
if Brian has one, then I have one too. So.
Anyway, Brian introduced us to what I'm going to call the new Experience Regina for friends of the site. They'll know what that means. And it's a YouTube video of Brian's former youth pastor, actually, in Low German, singing Bryan Adams' "Everything I Do It For You." And if you appreciate Low German and Mennonite culture, this is something you need to check out. I laughed till I cried. I won't lie. It was so good. And with Valentine's Day coming up, you could play this.
Real romantic.
For your wife.
Low German is a pretty romantic language.
It's the least romantic language. It is. Okay, for anyone who speaks Low German, hit on your wife in Low German today and see how far it gets you.
Clean bait. Makes that fail, but a clean bait.
See? Don't. Anyway, see? Okay, I want full reports of how well it works. All right, what else? I'm making a list. And I put on here my poor feet, but we don't have to talk about that. But I did pull off
hasn't been wearing shoes.
I did at least one interview without wearing shoes, and they didn't catch on, so I'm not even going to say who it was. You guys can all guess.
There's also one thing we haven't pointed out is the Be Grain Safe trailer is here, and there's actually a fine if your cell phone goes off during the sessions. You have to pay a $50 donation to Be Grain Safe, which RealAg has been partnering with for the last half year or so. And so there've actually been a couple, I know of at least one case where the moderator enforced it and somebody had to pay up.
It walked over and slapped down the $50, which is awesome. And of course, CN actually announced that they have come in as a sponsor or a supporter, I guess, of it as well. That happened this week. So. Yeah, it's been a wonderful 3 days, and I look forward to going to get my roll up the rim coffee with the cup and heading home. But it has been a joy, and you know what, Sean, we did miss you. We really did.
But he is in Nashville.
Yeah, so we actually don't feel bad for that at all.
Somewhere where somebody's playing live music.
And they serve beer on the trade show floor all day.
Yeah.
Little suggestion for next year, maybe. All right?
That's it for FarmTech. 2017.